Hello everyone, I'm Tim from Tim's PC, and I build custom PCs to suit anyone's needs or budget. Also live stream my builds and repairs for transparency and educational purposes. So if you would like to get an awesome new PC and you'd like to see it get put together live, send me a message today. Alright, so yeah, we're back here again tonight with our last build. So it's also our first build of the day, how's that? But it's our last live stream for the night. So anyway, let's get stuck into it. So this PC is for Ben, and Ben hit me up about getting a new PC because the one he's got at the moment's pretty old. He needed something new. The older PC, it's got a GTX 1050 Ti, which is about a $400 graphics card right now. So I sort of said, yeah, I sort of said to Ben, I'm like, if you want to really keep the costs down, man, it's not really a good time to buy another budget graphics card. So,
wait till Intel.
Yeah, Intel are launching new budget graphics cards next year, so hopefully that'll give people a few more options on the cheaper end. But we just decided that we won't include a graphics card with this one. We've still gone with an F series CPU, so I'm going to be using my trusty GT710 here. Oh well. Anyway, so we're going to put this build together tonight. It's got no RGB. It's nothing special, but the one thing that's going to be added to this is going to be an 8 TB drive, because Ben's got a number of like other hard drives and stuff that he just doesn't have.
I totally feel your pain because as an amateur photographer myself, I take a lot of photos.
Yeah, so
I understand that.
yeah, he's got a lot of stuff on his phone. He's got a couple of old drives that are failing and stuff like that.
Yeah,
So yeah, I'm gonna move it all over to the next one. He was freaking out about Outlook emails and stuff, but I told him how to restore his Outlook data file, so he can just copy that from his old one onto the new one, restore all his emails and all that, because if he's getting his emails through an ISP, they're probably only keeping him on the server for 3 months. So it's good to have them like stored on the hard drive. So if you do use Outlook, all your emails are stored in the Documents folder under Outlook Files. And if you copy those Outlook data files to a USB drive and plug it into your new computer and go into Outlook and import those data files into Outlook, you'll get all your emails back from your old computer. It's really, really easy. So it's really important because like a lot of people have very important documentation and stuff in their emails and stuff, so it's important to keep that backed up. So yeah, it is. It's good to know. I mean, I forget. See, I know all this stuff and I know what to be freaked out about and not to be freaked out about, but not everybody knows what I know, and I forget what I know and what people don't know. So it's hard for me, it's a challenge for me to like size people up and just be like, oh yeah, I know what you don't know, so I'll fill you in with all the gaps in your knowledge right here and there. It's yeah, no, I don't have a crystal ball. I forget things that seem simple to me and that seem like common knowledge to me aren't common knowledge to other people and stuff, and I have to remind myself sometimes that some things, yeah, aren't common knowledge. I've noticed that when I've been teaching Christine all this stuff. So
I'm a bit of a noob.
yeah, Christine's a little bit of a noob, but yeah, she's getting there. She's a first year apprentice.
I'm trying.
First year apprentice. So anyway, we'll go through the components here. So we've got the i3-10105F, the Gigabyte UD B560 DSH3AC motherboard. So it's got built-in Wi-Fi and Bluetooth. We've got a WD NVMe SSD here, 16 gigabytes of G-Skill Ripjaws, 3200 MHz CL16 memory. We have a Thermaltake 650 watt BX1 power supply, 80 plus bronze rated with the 5-year warranty. And we've got a Deepcool ML500 case here for everything else. So yeah, it's a nice case. It's easy to build in. It's got the nice magnetic panels that just come off like this. This box here.
Yes. Yes. The face keeps going lower.
Oh, yeah. The auto zoom feature is a little bit shitty for some reason on that camera, and it like focuses on the wrong thing. Maybe there's a firmware update for it at some stage that can fix that. Alrighty, yeah, so we've got the main feature of this case is you've got this little fan splitter. It's, some people would call it a fan controller. It's actually a fan splitter because it doesn't have any independent power. It just plugs in via this cable here to the motherboard, so it's getting all the power through the motherboard. So it's essentially the same as a splitter cable, but it allows you to plug in 4 devices there. But if you're using higher powered fans, it's recommended you should probably just leave it with 3, because you'll probably run into a situation where if you're trying to run all 4 fans at full speed, one of them might not actually get any power. So you want to consider that. That's the only downside with this particular controller here that's installed. But for ordinary fans, it's quite alright to have 4 on there, so you can use all 4. So just a little point to note there. And it's got USB-C.
I can't handle it anymore. Sorry, excuse my bum.
Righto. Well, let's just get started with this one. As for Rory's PC before, I don't know. All I can do is keep turning it on and off again, and it not stuff up on me. And all you can do is hope that if I've just gone over everything and just removed everything that could possibly be causing a problem like that, short of like replacing the motherboard. But I really don't think that's the problem. So, if anyone's got any thoughts, I'd love to hear anyone's thoughts on it. Even if you don't really have a clue and probably don't have the right answer, sometimes it's interesting for me to hear other people's opinions and ideas about what's wrong, because sometimes that can stimulate my own brain. So, alrighty, let's get our CPU on the board here. So our 10105F. So the 10105F is a revision of the 10100F that launched when the Intel 11th gen chips launched. So we haven't seen the 12100. We haven't seen all of the lower gen, the lower tier CPUs in 12th gen Intel yet. They are coming, but I've seen a few leaked benchmarks and stuff like that. Looks pretty good, as you could imagine. But we haven't seen that just yet. So we'll be using our stock cooler here from Intel. We've got the one with the copper center here. There we go. Let me just stash that cable around there. CPU installed and the cable hidden away there. Alrighty, so for our M2 SSD, we'll put that in the bottom slot there, because it's generally easier to access the slot that's on top of the graphics card if we wanted to install another M2 SSD in the future. So we'll chuck it in this bottom slot. And let me get an M2 screw. put in our memory. So these are quite nice looking sticks here, all black, so no RGB on them, but they look really, really nice. It's the shape and the design of the heat spreaders look really, really nice. And if someone approaches me and they want like a all black build, but they see, usually someone who doesn't want RGB, they just don't care, and I'll normally just get whatever memory to put in there. But if someone says they want like an all black PC, but they want it to still look really good, these are some of like my go-to products right there. These particular G-Skill Ripjaws branded memory. They look quite nice in my opinion for the ones that aren't RGB. Alright, so our board's all prepped up there, so we can fire ahead and put in our power supply. So yeah, it's always, power supplies are always one of those things that people always have a few misconceptions about. Like the 80 plus rating is the main thing that people don't fully understand. So it's not a guide to quality. 80 plus and the different ratings. So if you get ordinary 80 plus, right? Not any color, just 80 plus white, they sometimes call it. That means that the power supply has been tested and has passed tests that show that it's 80% efficient at 20%, 50%, and 80%. I'm pretty sure that's it. It's either 80 or 90% is the final one. So the power supply is 80% efficient at those three chosen percentages. That's it. It's not a guide to quality. There are some really terrible 80 plus gold power supplies out there. There are some excellent power supplies that are just 80 plus white. For an ordinary consumer, I generally suggest to follow the warranty as the main guide to quality. So if you look for a unit that's got at least a 5-year warranty on it, you can be pretty much assured that that's a decent quality unit. Because no one's going to build a cheap power supply with shitty parts inside it and put a 5-year warranty on it if like they know a decent percentage are going to fail and blah 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 blah. If they know that, they're probably going to opt for just the minimum warranty that you can offer on a product like that in Australia, which is a 1-year warranty. So yeah, if you look into consumer law in Australia, you'll find out that if you see a company that offers like a 1-year warranty on something like that, that's the price of admission. That's the minimum that you have to offer on certain products because of the reasonably durable clause. So I'm not a lawyer, but essentially there is this clause under Australian consumer law that says a product must be reasonably durable. And normally what that means is that you have to have a 12-month warranty as a minimum. Okay? So if your product is something like, I don't know, plastic cups and cutlery and shit like that. So they have to be reasonably durable for what they are. Okay, so you don't have to have a 12-month warranty on plastic cups and paper cups and stuff like that. However, if you want to sell power supplies and computer parts and TVs and electronics, cars, etc., yeah, you have to. It can't just die in 6 months. That's not appropriate for you to spend $20,000 on a new car and it just die in 12 months. That's that's not appropriate. That's not a good quality product. So when people have big wins and get big refunds, like you might have heard about a woman who got a $400 and something refund plus court costs and other damages from Land Rover. because they sold her a lemon and tried to basically not just replace it for her. Anyway, I think she was a lawyer or a barrister or something like that, so she went and screwed him, basically. She's like, nah, product not reasonably durable, I want a full refund for the car, blah 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 blah, I want all my legal damages paid. Yep, no worries, yep, you get everything you asked for, no worries, Land Rover's got no leg to stand on. That was hilarious, I thought. I'm just sort of ranting to the camera at this point about Australian consumer law. So I don't know if anyone's listening, but we're just talking about warranties, 80+ rating, and consumer law, and how, like, if you sell a power supply, a 12-month warranty is like the minimum that you have to offer. You can't offer less than that in Australia under the law.
I'm sorry, but what's been going on at your YouTube like chats the last couple of months? This tech stuff that's going on. People keep like, what is this?
I don't know. Look it up. Okay. What am I doing? I don't need that PCIe card for the graphics.
It's just spam bot shit.
Ah.
Okay.
Too distracted telling people about the reasonably durable clause in Australian consumer law that I tied up the wrong cables.
Aw, what are you doing?
I know, right?
You have one job, Tim. God, leave the room and shut up.
Take two. Yeah, so a lot of people don't realise that a 12-month warranty is like the price of admission for a lot of things. A lot of things fall under that legally. So, yeah. Alrighty, so I think we're going to need a couple of extra fans in here. So, I'm going to put 3 extra fans in here. Yeah.
Since I made it. What a boring PC. No 38. No RGB.
Oh,
It's mine!
yeah! Hey Ben, how you going? No, like I was saying earlier, this is going to be a fine replacement for what you've got.
Oh, yeah.
Be a big upgrade, and with the 8TB drive, yeah.
Just wait till Intel drops that.
They're dropping
GPUs.
new graphics cards. Then you can put in a new budget graphics card that's like probably going to be way better than a 1050 Ti, and not cost you like $800.
That's what I'm expecting at least.
Yeah, it's got to be
It's got to be at least 26.
No. It's got to be like 1650 performance has got to come down in price. Basically,
Yeah.
do you know what I mean? 1650 performance at like $200, and then like 2060 performance on the higher end of their cards at like $500. That's what I want to see. If we can see that,
That'd be
that's going to help a lot of people out and get them into PC gaming, basically. So the floodgates will open at that point. So I'm waiting to see. I've heard promising things, but we'll wait and see what they're like. We'll wait and see how they're priced. Alrighty, so we got the included fan there on the back, and oh, hang on, which way is this going? I think I had it the right way.
No.
No, I didn't.
Huh?
Oh, hang on. No.
What?
What the fuck? There we go. That was really weird. Yeah.
Then says Greenlight PTX 295, which was what the 1050 replaced.
Yep.
Was 1400. The old girl did well for 12 years. I just
Yeah.
can't thank you enough.
Yep.
It's all good.
Yeah, no, like I would have loved to have gotten you like a new card that I could have said, yeah, that's gonna last you for like, you know, over 5 years. You'll be sweet. But yeah, like the GTX 1050 right now is like $450. Like that's ridiculous. It's not. It's like, yeah, 1050 Ti. It's like, man, that's not like, yeah, it's a new PC. It's if you bought a PC for me with GTX 1050 Ti, it is for all intents and purposes a new PC, but it's also for all intents and purposes not a new PC because the GTX 1050 is not a new graphics card.
Like, at least when you buy a 2060 these days,
That's
it's
that's a
like,
little
it's
bit
kinda
older.
new.
It's a little bit older, but like at least it's like,
they're making new GPUs with the
yeah,
2060.
yeah, but I mean they're making new 1050 Ti's, but
Oh, true.
yeah, it's not like, yeah, you're not getting like stock that's sitting in a warehouse or something like that.
Yeah, true.
They're making more of them, but Nvidia basically just doesn't care about the budget end of the market, and they don't care that there's no options.
Excuse me. What are you doing? No. You guys saw that, right? You just pulled fucking Christmas decoration.
Check out No, that's not for you, mate. You have been fed too, so stop playing up.
Well, we're actually nearly done, believe it or not. Once I screw this in,
There's no RGB.
hey, I can add some strips or something like that if you want. If we have to have some RGB, I can chuck in. Yeah, I can chuck in a couple of strips or a token RGB fan. we can always do something like that.
How much are the strips?
Strips are 20, fans are 20. Nice and simple. Okay, so we've got our extra fans installed. What about this one here? This is the pre-installed fan. Yep, there's room for that up there. Sweet. That'll work well. Okay, side arc is falling over. That's because I need it there.
Yes. Otherwise it gets too much of a headache.
So we've got Wi-Fi, SATA cables, IO shield. So we'll put our IO shield in, and then we'll have a couple of offsets to install. So we have a micro ATX board going into an ATX case. Yeah.
Nick says that, guys.
Hey Nick, how you going? See, look, I heard that time.
Paying attention.
Yeah. Alright, so let me change over to our offset tool. And
Says go with not too bad. He's not going too bad, he just was thinking.
yeah, I'm sorry, Nick. It's always hard losing a pet.
At least you got to the old age of
15's
15. That's
pretty
pretty
good.
good for a cat.
Yeah, it is. Like, I know there's stories of cats living like, 18, 20 and stuff like that, but statistically it's not overly common. What's more common for a cat is 12 to 15 years.
Yeah, I had a little boy who was 15 when he passed.
Yep. Yeah, 15's old. You hear of a cat that's 18 or 20, that's like super, super old. That's the less than 1% sort of thing.
Nick says 15.
Yeah, that's really good. That's really good for a cat.
Ben says, what is the big difference between micro ATX and ATX?
That's just the size. Just the size of the board.
Oh, jeez.
So it's the exact same, it's got the exact same stuff on it, like, well, not the exact same stuff, because obviously the micro ATX is a smaller board, but, a lot of people don't need the full size motherboard because they don't run enough devices or have use for all the stuff that's on it. So for ordinary people, usually a micro ATX board is the sweet spot. It's kind of like the medium-sized board, if that makes sense. There's a large and a very large, and there's also a small and a very small. But the micro ATX board, even though it says micro in the name, it's actually kind of the medium-sized board.
Tim,
Yeah.
Ben says the boss is up to 48.
48,
Yeah,
yes.
Well,
Well,
they do live a long
yeah,
time.
birds can live like
Especially
as long as humans,
captivity.
almost. Yeah, in captivity.
There was a neighbor of mine, they had a Priscilla. It's like 60.
Oh yeah.
Pretty old bird. And he says he was at that point anyway, he loved to drink and eat. That's where the final moments of bonding came in. He meets a friend
Yeah. Did he die naturally, or did you put him out of his misery? We've had to put down animals with cancer and stuff, so we know about that.
Yeah. One was more traumatic than the other, but
Yeah.
yes. It's when you see a pet like just suddenly lose control of their back legs and they can't walk anymore, and you find out they have cancer and they can't live anymore.
Yep.
That sucks.
Yep. Big time.
Nick says he had to euthanize.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely, man. If they're in pain, it's not fair. Like, even though it's horrible, it's a horrible thing for them,
No.
for you to hold on because of your emotions and your attachments. They shouldn't have to suffer because of that.
Oh damn. So he wasn't there for it yet. Last scene, I had to go to work.
Oh,
Yes, I know what that's like. I had to say goodbye to a doggo while I was at work. It was Monty, your
Yep.
doggo.
yep.
Yes, losing pets sucks. Bird, dog, cat, fish. You're attached to it, it's bad.
Yep. This is my emotional support raptor.
No. Evan says pretty sure the neighbor poisoned him, but couldn't prove it. He was healthy as 1 minute and the next day he was gone. Dude. Some people are really fucked up.
Yeah. Yeah, well, statistically, anyone who does like animal cruelty crimes like that, they're like, if you get caught, I believe you go on to a watch list
Yeah, you do.
for being like potential problematic individual.
Animal cruelty and arson.
Yeah, arson's the other one. If you're an arsonist or you've done crimes against animals, you go on to like you're on the radar if something bad goes down. They find some fucked up murder scene and they don't have an obvious person. You're on that list of people that they look at first when they don't have any other suspects. So
We watch a lot of murder mysteries.
yeah. Okay. So yeah.
Since 15.5 is a good earnings for a cat. We have another on 14.5 that's gonna suck too.
Yeah. It always sucks, man, no matter what age.
Patrick said, what a really random combo to drop into.
Yeah, that's what can sometimes happen here. So yeah, unfortunately Nick lost a pet, and we're just talking about all of that.
These shit PC builders talk about.
Yeah, man.
He says, oh, believe me, I watched a lot of murder shows to make it look like Winnie the Pooh did it. Maybe I should
True
hire
cli-
you
true cli-
if I need, like, something done.
I was just gonna say, true crime is like a very popular genre right now.
Yeah, it is.
Everyone loves true crime.
So what are you doing now?
I am plugging in the front panel cables. Oh, I'm trying to. They get caught behind the wall, of course.
What are you doing? It's outside.
I don't mind sticking it there, that's fine. No power LED cables? No. Sweet. I like the no power LED cables. Okay, so we've got all the other cables that we want run behind the motherboard and stuff. There's nothing else we need to plug in down the bottom there. So I'm going to go ahead and fill up all of the remaining screw holes.
Tim thought he rocks himself in this trouble too.
Big Mao.
Don't you pull those fucking decorations down again. No, don't give me that.
So you're playing with stuff on the table. Why can't I play with stuff on the table? Alright. So now, literally, all we've got left to do is plug in our motherboard.
Tim?
Yep. Yep.
Ben says the 1050 Ti I have is the strict one and has a 6-pin connector. Not sure what it's for, but can you have a cable ready?
Yeah.
To plug into?
Yeah. Yeah, I'll leave all that out back for you. 1050 Ti with a 6-pin
And Strix version.
back in the day.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so down here, there's a bunch of cables just tied up there. I wasn't aware that you needed the 6-pin, but just cut that cable tie there, and you've got the PCIe cable in there. So that'll be there. I left the SATA cable loose because I knew you were definitely plugging in hard drives.
Maybe you should just cut those and leave the other bits.
It doesn't really. It really doesn't matter because like there's no issue here for space, if you know what I mean. Like I could just put that like that and stick this. And just tie this up like that. Alright, I'll just cut it for you. How's that? Cut it for you. It made me feel guilty.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to make you feel guilty. I have some power.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm
She's my
misusing
wife
it.
and she's just realising she has some power.
I'm misusing it. What have I been doing? Seems like, oh fuck.
Real. Okay. So we've got everything hooked up there. We'll chuck a couple of SATA cables in. I'm just going to leave these hanging loose here because I've got to install an 8TB drive into the system tomorrow. So I'm going to have to open this up again anyway. And finally, all we've got to do is chuck in a graphics card. Yeah.
And what's the 6.4? I could have snipped a cable to uses.
No. It's got nothing. It's got nothing to do with my view on whether you could do the cable tie, and everything to do with my wife making me feel guilty about not doing my job.
No, I just meant that he should use so it's easier.
Alrighty. So let's chuck our.
I'm just being calm.
Yeah. See, she said it. She said it. Alrighty. So now we get to see whether I'm going to have a nice easy night or a difficult night. Let's roll the dice. What else do I need? Hold on, listen. Okay. I know you can't see anything, but it's definitely powered on. No, it's still posting. It's freaking out about the graphics card that's plugged in. So I'm not seeing display signal. There's no LEDs on screen.
You need to put a speaker in.
Yeah, I could put a speaker in. That's if it's enabled in BIOS. Plug in our diagnostic speaker. Power off. Graphics. Alright, so it is Cry.
Did say it was having a hard about this.
Yeah. Gen 4 PCIe slot. So let's just chuck in one of these other slots here, but this could also lead to another problem and I might have to use a different graphics card. So my trusty GT710 has let me down. Oh no. Maybe I'll have to kick it. Go. So yeah, basically what was happening there was we have a motherboard that has Gen 4 PCIe, and this particular card, this is a GT710, and this isn't using just Gen 3, this is using Gen 2 PCIe. So it was getting a bit confused there, having this fucking X1 card plugged into the X16 slot, and it also being second gen instead of the fourth gen that the slot is natively. But when I plugged it into the Gen 3 X1 slot, just booted up straight away. So that's what was going on there if you were like trying to work it out at home.
So
Yeah.
what are you talking about on PC stuff?
I've got your hard drives, man.
Ooh, do you?
Yeah, I've got them downstairs.
Yay!
Alright, so that's showing up perfectly. We do have an 8 terabyte that we're going to have to add tomorrow. It's on tomorrow's order. Yeah, I showed Ben where the i3 10105F sits compared to his old CPU. It's got like double the performance, which makes sense because his CPU that he's got on there at the moment is 4 cores and 4 threads, and now he's going to a 4-core 8-thread CPU. So it's like he's doubled his thread count. So he's going to have a much more sort of capable CPU. Be better running multiple things at once. Just a bit more responsive.
So
Yep.
Nick wants to know, how many were you able to get?
So I just got you the two terabyte ones.
2 terabyte.
Yeah, 7200 RPM.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the best one.
Yeah, that's gonna get you in RAID 0, that's gonna get you just below SSD speeds with the 2. Which is pretty good. It's gonna be a good gaming drive for you. And then, you know, like I said, it's RAID 0, so if a drive dies, it's like, oh no, I lost my games. Oh no. Who cares? I'll download it again. RAID's pretty easy to put together. It can lead to some weird problems, but yeah. The thing that you get is faster load times for your games. It's mainly a problem with older drives, right? When you put a bunch of older drives into RAID, you can sometimes ask for problems, but then it's not ideal to buy 2 drives at the same time and put them into RAID. Ideally, you should have one that's like bought somewhere different to the other one, because if like there was a manufacturing defect rather that affected you know, a particular series of units that were coming off the production line, if you bought them from the same place, you probably got them out of the same box, and they probably were units that are all on the same production line, so the same problem could exist in both. So, but that's more a consideration for people running RAID 1, because they want the redundancy of their data. So they don't want to lose. They really don't want to lose their data. So because RAID 1, if you want to know the difference between RAID 0 and RAID 1, RAID 1's kind of the opposite of RAID 0. Instead of writing half a file to one drive and half a file to the other drive, it just writes the same file twice to 2 drives. So you've got like an invisible drive that gets exactly the same thing written onto it as the next drive. And what that means is if you have a hard drive fail, you don't even have to stop using it. You can keep accessing the information while you pull out the dead drive, replace it, rebuild the RAID 1 volume. And the whole time you can be using the other hard drive, because the exact copy of the information is on both drives. So with RAID 1, if a drive dies, it's no big deal. It's not even, you don't even have to go offline for like a couple of hours while you stuff around with it. You can actually just like keep running. So there's advantages to it. but there's disadvantages because you don't get any speed increase with RAID 1. And you get half the capacity. Yeah. Yeah, that'll be cool. So one good thing about these boards is when I received them, they were all up to date with the BIOS. No BIOS update required here, so it's nice and quick. We're just going to get everything set up here in Windows, and that'll pretty much be it. Yeah.
Friday?
Yeah, Friday off? Okay. We'll do it Friday. Yeah, that'll work. If you're around as well, that would help. Sorry, Nick, it's not you, it's just trying to get through the day with everything else and planning in time.
If it's not Friday, Saturday.
Yeah. Okay. So we'll get all these Windows updates and stuff taken care of. Looks like we already got a display driver. This shouldn't take long to download. It should just pretty much instantly download when it wants to. Yeah, it's all but done. That's the big one. Sweet. Oh, we've got our LAN driver installing there. Your new one will probably get here tomorrow, babe.
Fucking better.
I'll restart my computer when I want, thank you very much. How rude. Telling me it needs a restart. I'll decide when it restarts. Okay. So I always put down some custom desktop icons so I don't make a mess of the place. Obviously, you can set your desktop up however you want. But these are some basic icons that I just recommend everyone use. You install a new application, you put it in your applications folder. Install a new game, you put it in your games folder. And if you need a documents folder, link to your Scratch drive, any other things, you can add them in. It's no problems at all. I can make a folder for you. You know, I can set it up. It's all good. But yeah, these two are generally pretty universal. Pretty universal stuff, these two. Everyone can get some benefit from that. So Acronis True Image. So this is good software. It allows you to make a complete copy of your SSD. So you've got a WD SSD for your boot drive. So if you ever needed to make a copy of the operating system and everything on it, you can easily do that and make a copy of this SSD that will be bootable. So it's pretty cool. It's normally paid software, but you get it for free with a WD device. So anyone who has a WD hard drive or SSD will get that app installed from me. What else have we got here? We need App Center. So that's the gigabyte sort of application to keep all your motherboard and other updates up to date. What else have we got here? No. BattleNet. Just for the kids to play Call of Duty and stuff. Chrome.
Oh jeez.
Pretty much everyone uses Chrome. Yeah.
Ben says he doesn't use Windows 10, he's still on Windows 7.
Ah, true. Oh,
You might actually love Windows 10, to be honest.
yeah, Windows 10, I never had a problem with Windows 10. It's crap moving on from a familiar interface. That's the biggest thing. But essentially Windows 10 is like an improvement on Windows 7. A lot of things are the same, some things are changed. What's interesting is a lot of Windows 7 is still actually there in the background of Windows 10. But Windows 10 has tried to like simplify everything. So I'll show you what I'm talking about. So in Windows 10, if we click the Start menu, we go over here to Settings. It'll bring up this page here. Now, this is kind of like the new control panel page on Windows 10. However, if you go up to the search bar here, and if you want just like the classic, you can just type in control panel, and oh really? I'm making a liar of myself. There we go. Why didn't that come up before? Anyway. And there you've got your classic view of Windows settings. So if you needed to get into anything, you would probably be familiar with all of this. This would look very, very similar to you on Windows 7. So you can still get into a lot of things like that. And when you get, even though it might look different, if we go into like this PC, we right click on C drive and go down to properties. Look at this. Looks very, very familiar, doesn't it? That looks very, very familiar. Very, very familiar. And then we're in like my computer now. If we click up computer, you've got a quick link here to uninstall change programs. We can go to manage, and it will bring up the computer management window with device manager and disk management and all of that stuff that you would normally be, if you're like a decent level user of Windows 7, you'd be familiar with a lot of these things that I'm pulling up here. It's like none of that has changed. They've just sort of given it a facelift and made it easier for like your average Joe to like find things basically, which can be a bit of a pain if you know how to find everything on Windows 7. Take the piss? Oh man, are you serious? That's such a troll.
Oh, I love it. Ooh. Oh no. Tim's like, shut the fuck up.
You better shut the fuck up. Alright, so Epic installer here is for kids to play Fortnite. Actually, I'm not stress testing a graphics card, so I'm just going to not install that app. Don't want the kids getting into it. Yeah, well, there are still a lot of people still using Windows 7 right now, so in my defense, I wouldn't have a clue what you use. No, that's exactly right, Nick, and that's why I don't really have a problem installing it, and I'm not like warning you about like, you know, fire and brimstone if you do sort of thing.
If you have something that's really important, put it on SSD.
Yeah. I can't stress the importance enough of off-site backups.
Yes.
So, not just
your cousin, your friend,
yeah, anyone.
grandma.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
Because like if your house burns down, what's the chance of your house and the other random person or the storage locker or wherever you store like
The
your
post
work
office.
in your desk at work or whatever, like what's the chance of that burning down the same night as your house burning down? That's got to be like, that'd be crazy odds, right?
Unless it's like, you know, back in London when, like, you know, everything was on.
What, during the war? Oh shit. Yeah.
He says, I'm not serious. This was Windows 7.5. I was on Windows 7. I haven't experienced with Windows 7. I don't know about the OS stuff yet.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's Windows 7 was fine for ages, and then basically as soon as Microsoft stopped supporting something with security updates and all that, I can't recommend it to anyone, and I have to tell them like straight away you need to remove that operating system and upgrade to Windows 10 whether you like it or not, sort of thing. And then if they choose to go elsewhere and not deal with me, that's fine, but at the end of the day I can't tell people that yeah it's all good, all sweet, and then something happens and then it's my fault because I told them that it was all good, when really I knew better and I should have told them that no, there's no more security updates and you shouldn't use it anymore. So, and one day that will happen for Windows 10. So while I'm not currently recommending people switch over to Windows 11, I think there's still a few little issues for them to work out. I think when they launched Windows 10 for the first time, they had a program where they basically gave Windows 7 users the opportunity to upgrade for free to try out Windows 10 and basically do a extended beta test of the product before launch. And I took advantage of that, and yeah, I upgraded my OEM license to a full 5 device full Windows 10 license for free. So I was pretty happy about that back in the day. I thought that was really good value. Alright, you'll adjust the time, get time zones sorted. Okay, no crucial. Not much point installing gaming benchmark stuff because we're not really testing a graphics card in this. No point XTU. Yeah.
So one quick question, how do I actually register Windows 10 for I'll upgrade to Windows 11 on my next PC?
Yeah, no, your
10
Windows
is now.
Windows 10 will be activated for you. I just haven't entered the key. I normally don't enter people's keys like
Online.
live. If I remember and I have one photographed on my phone, then I'll just enter it. I'll just change the screen, but normally that's something I do like right at the end. Usually I stress test the PCs, and when at the end of the stress test, that's normally when I go through and basically make sure everything's alright. Windows is activated and everything's all sorted. Alrighty, so has App Center hasn't done its thing. It's waiting for me to launch it for the first time. So that MSI Afterburner app that I installed, that'll let you adjust the fan settings on your graphics card. Yep.
Sorry, some more questions. No, it's alright.
Nah, it's all good.
The
More questions are better because I run out of things to say. So yeah, more questions is better. Because once I start doing this, I just get into a rhythm in my mind, and I'm just like, yep, I'm setting up a computer. Bang, 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 bang. And I just try to remember to talk about what I'm doing. But that gets a little bit boring. Questions are always good. It's more engaging. People like to watch it more. Okay. Everything's looking pretty good. Office 365's installed. Sweet as. I'd set up that hard drive, but I don't have it yet. While I do have 1 terabyte and 2 terabyte drives around, I don't just usually have 8 terabyte drives just laying around.
Yeah, no. That's special.
Yeah, like if I just like had if I bought and had 8 terabyte drives just like laying around, they'd end up being like really expensive compared to the cheap prices you'd get on special. Yeah.
So all these programs you're installing, do you copy an install files from my PC so if I need a fresh install I can just reinstall them?
Yeah, well, everything that I'm installing here is all free. None of it's paid software. So you can get this stuff. Get this Gigabyte App Center off the Gigabyte website. Just look up your motherboard's name, and you'll find the App Center download, and then from there it'll download all of the software that comes with your motherboard. So like, you know how you get like they give you like a CD with stuff on it, right? That CD has all the stuff that we're installing here through this Gigabyte App Center. The other stuff that I installed, they're mainly apps like I told you about Crystal Disk Info earlier today when we were chatting, and this will give you a status on your drives. So obviously here we've got our new one here that we've just installed. It's had 16 gigabytes read off it and 57 gigabytes written to it. It's been turned on 7 times, hasn't even registered an hour of use. And it's got some stats down here as well. And it's doing the same for my SSD, but substantially more reads and writes and power on times and all that. But still showing 100% health, because SSDs last a fair while. Okay, so this is nearly done, so we'll be able to restart, get those final updates installed, and it's pretty much good to go. We disabled everything there that starts up automatically and pisses us off. Yep. And here's our CPU, our i3-10105F. 4 cores and 8 threads. Our 16 gigabytes of memory there. Our main SSD. And here's my little GT710. Charging along at 80% there. Just outputting the desktop. So see that little line up there? That's the gaming headroom it has. Okay. Oh, put it on backwards. Solid effort. So I'm going to go into BIOS. I'll enable that XMP profile. And let me go over here to, where are we? Where are we? Network. Where is our PCIe settings? It's really weird. Oh no, this... oh, it's only got this. Alright. Alright, sweet. We're going to set that to Gen 3 so it doesn't have a cry when Ben puts his card in. Don't want the same thing happening that happened to me. Yeah.
And what's the which is all these GPU
Oh, yeah, the top big long slot. It's only got one slot that will be long enough to fit your graphics card, so it's nice and easy. My card's only in another slot because it's got like a little tiny interface. It's got the same like little tiny one that like a Wi-Fi card would have.
goes on the top one,
Yeah. You can't really see it from there, but...
No, you can't.
Alright, some other updates there in Windows. Everything else is all pretty good. So what's a little i3-10105 actually perform like? And so this is just one test, and we are doing some stuff there in the background. So how's it looking compared to similar CPUs? 10105F. Oh, yep, so yeah, like I said, we were doing some stuff in the background, so that's where the average one sits. Like I said, we were doing stuff, so not a fair comparison. But as you can see there, i3-10105F. This is why you can never judge a CPU by the brand. Just like, oh, it's an i7, so it's got to be better than the i3. No, this i3 is just as good as this i7 here. It's all in the model number there, the numbers. That's what tells you everything that you need to know, pretty much. And so I think... yeah, I'm not sure what CPU Ben had originally. But yeah, this will be a big step up. And if we look at multi-thread, probably be a bit behind the bar here because we were doing stuff in the background. 10105. Oh no, pretty much in line. A little bit of stuff going on in the background, but not much. As you can see there, even keeping up with an i7 7700K. Look at that. So, really good there. Oh, sorry, I don't think people can see the numbers there. Yeah. 7700K, basically the same. So 10th gen i5 versus the 7th gen i7 flagship, basically the same performance. So yeah, makes a big difference, those generations. And we'll be able to restart. And that'll pretty much be it. This computer's set up and ready to go. I just gotta enter a product key for Windows and pack it up. You want the Diagnostic Speaker? It's free. It's the thing that goes bip. Completely optional, but it'll tell you what's wrong if there's a problem. With a series of short and long beeps. And so you should be right to upgrade to Windows 11. Yeah, get the PC health check out. Where is it? Yeah. This PC meets Windows 11 requirements. So yeah, in 12 months time or something like that, maybe consider upgrading to 11. But yeah, wait a little bit of time. There's no rush. There's no rush. There's no major attraction to Windows 11 or anything like that. There will come a time where it'll make sense just to switch over. But at the moment, it makes sense to let other people use it and have problems with it and all that, and let them fix all of the unforeseen issues. Still another cumulative update. Alrighty. Well, that is all sweet. So, it won't be much of a stress test. It'll just be a quick check to make sure that the CPU cooler's definitely on there correctly and that it's cooling as expected. And it looks like it most certainly is. Putting the little i3 to work rendering a video. Ah. No, and this is good. So, Intel CPUs are rated up to 100 degrees. So, 60 degrees under load is beautiful. And I'd say this will probably heat up to like 70 or so degrees. Yeah, Ben, and that's very good. It's a very good idea to have in your head there. Wait for the compatibility issues to be ironed out, and then upgrade. It's a free upgrade. Your new computer's going to be compatible with it. So, who cares? You've got Windows 10 for now. The license gets upgraded to Windows 11, you don't have to pay anymore. Just sit tight and wait, and when the time's right, the time's right. I mean, I've got Windows 11 on my test benches, but I don't have Windows 11 on either of the PCs that I use every day. So, I'm not willing to put my business on Windows 11, so if I'm not willing to do that, then I'm not going to recommend it to other people. I just tell people, well, just make sure you've got getting the right stuff that's going to be compatible with Windows 11 so you can upgrade when the time comes. So, alrighty, well, I think I might leave it there because, yeah, like, we're well and truly at the end of the night. All that's left to do now is just enter the Windows key and pack this one up and ship it off. So, yeah, Ben, if you just want to send me your address on Facebook, that'd be awesome, and I'll get this one shipped off for you tomorrow. I'll get that hard drive installed first, though. I forgot one of the customer's hard drives recently, so I can't make that mistake again. Alrighty, so thanks everyone for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel, and I'll catch you all in the next video.